So he goes out this front door. My baby's still sitting here at the door. He go out. I'm sitting down eating my food. Next thing I know, y'all, I just hear gunshots, like a lot of gunshots. And I'm just like, what's going on? So that's when I tell him, like, no, he wasn't stabbed, he was shot. So he asked me, did you do it? Y'all, I wanted to put hands and feet on that police officer right then. Cause please don't play with me like that, sir. Please don't play with me like this, sir, okay?
Welcome back to another episode of Clock Dot Conversations. I'm your host, Fahim, and today we're going to get into some more TikTok content. Story time on how my boyfriend was unalived with me and our 3-month-old daughter in the house. Ooh. Yeah, that sounds like a traumatic experience. This should be an interesting story time. Like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'm not going to waste your time. Let's go ahead and get into it.
What's up, y'all? This is story time on how my boyfriend slash baby father was tragically unalived 12 years ago. This may be sensitive, to some people. I'm not trying to trigger anybody. I'm just simply wanting to give my testimony, wanting to speak on what I've been through. Today makes 12 years, and this has been a long journey. So, yeah. So 12 years ago, y'all, October the 23rd, 2012, me and my boyfriend and my daughter, we was staying at my god sister's house because me and my mom had recently got into like a little argument. I had packed my things and left. We was about to move into our place that following week, so I just needed somewhere to go for a few days. So we went there, chilled there the whole weekend or whatnot, and my baby father, he was with his friends. And his friends, his girlfriend, her birthday was that weekend, so they had a nice little kickback, all that type of stuff. Me, I'm just had a new baby, so I'm, somewhere put up with our daughter while he's out and about. So y'all, no shade or nothing like that, but I always really had a problem with my baby daddy being with this friend that he had, because it always seemed like every time he was with him, something crazy always happened. Like when I was 5 months pregnant, he got robbed in his house, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that, as a girlfriend, kind of makes you be like, I don't want you hanging with him. But you know how y'all fellas do. You know how the fellas do, y'all. Sometimes they don't listen to their woman. And I'm just going to say this before I tell this story. Fellas, when your girl is telling you she got a gut feeling about something, or saying someone ain't your friend, or be careful around certain people, y'all listen to her. This woman sleep with you every night. This woman is in tune with you. If she feel like something ain't right, listen to your girl.
I can tell immediately that this sister really did care for her boyfriend. So, yeah, she seems like a really genuine sister. So I would definitely take advice from a woman that I'm with if she, is telling me that I should look out for somebody that isn't in my best interest to be hanging around. Let's get back into it.
So back to the story. My boyfriend, he met these guys based upon a mutual friend. He made a lot of interactions with people due to what he did for a living. And he was making interactions, having interactions with these guys on a regular basis. He always looked out for the guy. And like 2 weeks before my baby father got killed, I remember him selling him an iPod that didn't work. So I remember my boyfriend getting on the phone with him, telling him, like, look, man, this is not working. I got a new baby. Like, I don't have money to waste, on stuff that's not working. You knew that before you sold it to me. So I heard him and the guy kind of getting into it about him getting the money back, but I never knew it could turn out into this. You know what I'm saying? So 2 weeks go by after this whole little iPod situation. Like I said, we chilling at my god sister house. I was gonna stay there for a couple days until our place was ready. We had to pay the deposit for our lights and all that good stuff. So while I'm at my god sister house, I ended up texting him that night, telling him like, you always claim me and celebrities the only people that you love, but you always, with your friends. So he didn't give me no argument this night, y'all. He just was like, okay, I'm coming, and he came.
I just caught something. They named their daughter Celebrity. That's an interesting name. Okay.
I had cooked a meal. We had watched a movie. My cousin and her boyfriend was there, along with one of my other cousins and her daughter that was in the back room. And they also had a +1, which was their homeboy slash one of my homeboys as well from childhood. So we all sitting there chilling, watching the movie, he watched the movie, and it was called Taking Lives by, it was a movie with Angelina Jolie in it. And I'll never forget, y'all, as we watching this movie, I couldn't even watch the movie. I just kept staring at him. He just babe, watch the movie because you're going to be asking me what happened in a few minutes. And it was just I don't know. I just felt this urge to just keep looking at him. Like, he just looked so good to me, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. He looked so good. Ugh. My baby will fine now. If you know, then you know. But yeah, so it was kind of almost if I had this little feeling, but I didn't know what I was experiencing at the time, like right before his death. So as we watching this movie, like I said, having a good time, he ends up falling asleep. I'm eating my food now. The guys called and they wanted to purchase something. So while they're calling to purchase something, I hear the tone in his voice like that's it, like all right, like they literally called him for something that was $5 worth at the time, y'all. So he like all right, he ends up falling asleep on the couch. The guys are still not there yet. But I'm not paying attention. He deal with these guys on the regular, as far as that goes. So there was nothing new. So as I'm eating my food, his phone ring. He wake up and he do this thing where if he's coming outside, he's not gonna answer the phone and tell you he's on the way out. You just gonna see him walking out. So that's what he did. I watched him sit up, put his shoes on, and proceed to head out the door. As he's trying to head out the door, one of my little baby cousins is actually trying to go with him outside, but it's kind of cold. And y'all, I actually had my baby sitting at this door. I had my baby sitting at this door because we didn't use that door, based upon how her place was set up. So we always use her back slide doors. So when the dudes called, I guess they told him they was, coming the front way. He knew where the guy baby mom stayed, which was the front way, so it only made sense for him to go out that front door. So he goes out this front door. My baby's still sitting here at the door. He go out, I'm sitting out eating my food. Next thing I know, y'all, I just hear gunshots. Like, a lot of gunshots. And I'm just like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not registering that he's outside. It is, but it ain't, because it's like, I'm not thinking about how long he been outside or nothing. I'm not thinking nothing could be going wrong. So I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Do E got a gun? E is my baby father, y'all. I'm like, do E got a gun? I'm like, no, he don't tote guns. So I'm confused. Everybody is in there running around. Everybody pulling each other, like running, hiding under stuff, because the gunshots was sounding super close. And it's like, it was so much going on in such little time, y'all. Like, you would be amazed how much stuff took place in like 5 minutes. I thought this was like a 30-minute event. All this stuff happened in like 4 to 5 minutes, y'all. So as I'm hearing these gunshots, I'm just standing up looking out the window, and I just see sparks. All I see is sparks. So everybody running, people pulling me like, come on, they're trying to drag me to the back. And I'm like, no, my baby. Because I'm now realizing like my baby's at the door. I don't know whether to grab my baby or whether to go out the door to see what's going on with my baby father. Do I shut the door? I just didn't know what to do. So as I screamed my baby, the guy that was there heard me, and he ran over there and picked my whole daughter's bassinet up and ran it to the back of the house. As soon as he ran into the back of the house, my baby father came running in the door. And excuse me, I was shaking a little bit. My baby father came running through the door, and as he's running through the door, bullets is following him, ricocheting off the silver piece down there at the bottom of the door. Is ricocheting, coming into the house, coming through the walls, and he comes in. He walked straight past me. And I'm asking him like, babe, what happened? But he not really responding. He just looking real confused. So he goes into the bathroom, opens the bathroom door, and I see him raise his shirt up. So after he raised his shirt up, he comes out the bathroom and he like, them MFers shot me, babe. And I'm like, what? So he snatched his shirt off and threw it down on the ground. He was getting kind of mad. Then he like, these MFers shot me, man. So when he turned around, y'all, I don't want to trigger anybody, but when he turned around, like, I literally seen the bullet wound in his back. I freaked out. I lost it, y'all. Like, I don't even know what happened. I just snapped, like, shaking my hands, jumping up and down, and he's like, is it that bad? Like, he's still able to talk to me. So y'all, I panicked. I kind of blame myself for panicking sometimes because I wish, I would have tried to keep him calm and just try to put him in the car and take him to the hospital myself. But in that situation, like, you really don't know what you're going to do until something like that happens. I did not know what to do, y'all. He had to tell me, like, babe, get me some help, call 911. So then we were trying to apply pressure to the wounds because he was bleeding bad, like, bad. So y'all, I goes outside because I'm trying to talk to 911 on the phone, trying to find the address. I could not find the address to save my life. Like, I'm in my god sister's drawers looking for mail, everything. They asking me my location. I cannot give 911 my location. Like, I remember running outside, going to knock on people's doors, y'all. People act like they didn't hear me. Nobody wouldn't crack a window. Nobody wouldn't say, "Are you okay? Do you need me to call?" Like, could have hollered through the window, something like they just act like they didn't hear me, y'all. While I'm out there just falling apart. Like, I remember one time literally just falling in the grass and just crying because I'm just like, oh my God, like what is going on right now? You know, and I thought about like I gotta get up. Like, Shaka, you gotta get up, you gotta go back in, and you gotta make sure E is okay. So that's what I did. I got up, I went back in. Okay, y'all, so I'm running out of time, and backstory, today is actually my son's birthday as well as my baby father's death date. So I'm about to get ready to take my son to the fair and try to spend some quality time with him and turn my vibrations around and try not to be negative today. If y'all want to hear the rest of this story, comment, let me know. I'm just trying to get my testimony out there and let the girls know that even if you go through the hardest of hardest times, baby, just keep pushing. If y'all want the rest of this story, comment and say part two, please.
Yeah, I will say that that's a crazy situation. That is a crazy situation to be in. I do understand how people can panic in high stress environments and circumstances like this, but you gotta try your best to remain calm. But yeah, hopefully, she was able to, she's able to make the best of the day. Let's go ahead and get into part two.
What's up, y'all? My name is Shaka, and this is part two of how my baby father was tragically unalived 12 years ago in the presence of me and my daughter. Everybody kept wanting to see what he looked like, so y'all, here's a picture of him and I together. I think we took this picture like Christmas 2010. And before I get into my story, I just want to tell everybody that I thank you all so much for all the encouraging words, for y'all sharing your story. I really, really, really appreciate it. So we're gonna get straight into part two. I'm sorry it took me so long, y'all. This, as y'all know, this is not an easy story. Like, when I tell y'all my nerves are so bad right now, like my anxiety is out the roof. So just bear with me. So back to what I was saying, I knew I had to make it back into the house to where he was. I had to get up out the ground from crying and realized that wasn't helping him in that time. So I ran back in the house. As I'm in the house, my homeboy, he's still one of our mutual homeboys. He's still sitting down there with him, on the ground, trying to put pressure on the wounds. So at this time, my baby father is sitting there. He's not crying. He is just watching me as pacing back and forth because at this time I was still trying to find the address. So y'all, whole gag is that they could get my address. They got me running around like a damn fool looking for the address when she like, okay, I have your location there on the way. Like, why didn't y'all ain't just do that from the beginning? Got me going crazy, like looking for this address when you clearly can get the address. It's 911. Come on.
I was gonna say that earlier. Don't they have some kind of device where they could track your phone number? Because crimes go on in very, you know, unknown places sometimes. How else are the police able to track? They definitely could track your cell phone to your exact location somehow. Yeah, I don't know why the police were playing games. Well, it's because she black.
So I hang up the phone with her. As soon as I hang up the phone with her, now I'm down here with my baby father, me and my cousin, Taisha. We actually, are down there with him, and she actually had asked him, like, who did this to you? Like, who shot you? And he actually gave a name. I really don't want to say the guy's name, but he said his name. Instantly, I already knew who he was talking to because I was eavesdropping on the conversation as I'm eating anyway, trying to make sure I want a girl on the phone. But yeah, I was eavesdropping, so I already knew who he was talking to.
Boy, sisters be funny, boy. Sisters be funny. You know, a sister eavesdropping. If you date the girl, that sister eavesdropping, she gonna eavesdrop on every phone call you got. And she gonna say she looking out for your best interest and stuff. But really, she trying to see if you talk if you got a different sister on the phone. She trying to see if you talking to another girl, bro. She always trying to do it, but you can definitely tell this sister really cared about her man. Seriously.
So after we asked him that and he say the name, we kind of just didn't want him to talk anymore because that's then when I saw that the bleeding was getting to a bad point because I saw when he opened his mouth that he had a little blood on his teeth. So yeah, as I was saying, we kind of wanted him to stop talking, you know what I'm saying? But he still kept talking throughout the process. Like he repeatedly told me that he loved me. He was telling my homeboy that was there that he loved him. He was just, going through, I guess. I can't say what he was going through in that time. But in this time, at the same time, I'm really feeling like he's gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? So my cousin that's in the bedroom, we are now like waiting for the police. We waiting for the ambulance. We like, where are they at? Like we going crazy because we just feeling like it's taking them entirely too long to get here. So finally the police pulls up, but he's just sitting out there in the car. Like y'all, my cousin, her name Trinice, like she off the chain. My cousin ran straight out the door and yanked the police up by his collar like he in here. Cause right, why are you just sitting outside and not coming in trying to assess the situation?
I'm telling you, it's because we black, bruh. Police officers treat us so poorly. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. That's why I'm always an advocate for sisters in particular because they're the nurturers. But I'm always an advocate for us as black people really knowing how to, like resuscitate and do CPR and just having these very, very niche skills to where we will be able to assist each other without the help of the police. Because a lot of time you call them up and they take an hour, 2 hours to get there. They know you black. They know you live in an area where it's majority black people. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. And it's really a shame how we get treated, but we just gotta make sure that we look after each other because nobody else is.
I live in a small town, y'all. I guess he was scared. They ain't familiar with these situations. I don't know, but he was taking too long to get out of that car, so she drug him out. So he comes in. As soon as he comes in, he's flashing the flashlight because he got to clear the scene before the ambulance can come, I guess. That's what he's telling us. So he's flashing the flashlight, but he flashes it right into my baby father's face, y'all. When I tell y'all, like, I smacked it out of his hand. So well, I didn't smack it out of his hand, but I hit it. Like, get that light out of his face. Because when you see somebody injured and hurt on the ground, why the first thing would you do is to put a flashlight in his face? Please explain it to me. So after that, he began to ask questions like, what happened here? I'm trying to tell him what happened. So in the midst of me trying to tell him what happened, he says, well, hold on. Somebody called and says he was stabbed, and somebody called and said he was shot. So which one was it? So I'm like, huh? I'm lost at the time because I'm unaware that my cousin that was in the back room, she literally didn't have any idea what was going on. So she called the police too. She called 911 too while I'm on the phone with 911 as well. But she said stab. Why she said stab? Please don't ask because I do not know. So that's when I tell him, like, no, he wasn't stabbed, he was shot. So he asked me, did you do it? Y'all, I wanted to put hands and feet on that police officer right then. Because please don't play with me like that, sir. Please don't play with me like that, sir, okay? I can obviously tell that this man really don't care for people with this skin color. But anyways, after I go off on him about that, he goes away. The paramedics come. My baby father, he is still awake at this time. He's asking to see my daughter, but they wouldn't let me bring.
Do you know how racist you gotta be to come into a household with a black man bleeding out on the floor and you're that unempathetic, that unsympathetic? Like, are you serious, bro? I hope you lose your job and you're never able to feed your family. Do you know how ridiculous that is? That's fucking crazy, bro.
her into the room. They telling me no, and they wouldn't let me leave with him on the ambulance either. So y'all, that alone right there was killing me because the last thing I wanted was him out of my eyesight. Like I wanted to make sure, like, he was good. So right as I see them, trying to get him together and put him onto the hospital, the gurney or whatever, that's when I kind of see him like pass out. So they take him away and on the ambulance, don't let me go. I'm upset, but I gotta keep calm because they telling me I can't leave to go where he is until I write a statement. So now me and my cousins, we are all writing statements about what happened here. But at this time, y'all, I could care less about a statement. I just wanted to go where my babe was. I just wanted to make sure he was okay. That was my biggest concern. Like, can we do the statements later? So in the middle of me, I think as soon as I got done doing my statement, that's when he comes and tells me that he's in critical condition. Instantly when he tell me that, y'all, I just remember just breaking down like on the back of the car that I was standing in. And to rewind a little bit, I forgot to tell y'all this part, but before I wrote the statements and all that stuff, I called my mom to come get my baby so that my baby isn't still, in this environment while all this is going on. So my mom came, my dad came, everybody got there fast, but they all left and went to the hospital and took my daughter while I stayed behind to write statements. So once I got done with the statements, he pulled me to the side. The police officer who just had accused me of doing something to him pulled me to the side and began to have me walk with him. So he asking me like, was that y'all? Is that y'all daughter? So I'm like, yes. And he like, y'all in a relationship? I'm like, yes, sir. He like, how long y'all been together? I tell him, and that's when I just remember him telling me like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but he didn't make it. When I tell y'all, I lost it. Like I didn't have no shoes on. I remember just like stomping, screaming. Me and my cousins, we going crazy. You know what I'm saying? We going crazy because we just like, what? Like, I'm sorry, I really do not want to cry. I swear to God I don't. But this story real. It is what it is. So I'm just going crazy, but I'm going so crazy to a point where they telling me like the officer told my cousin that if I don't calm down, he gonna have me admitted onto the 6th floor of the hospital, which if anybody know what that means, that's the psych ward. Y'all, when I tell you I charged at this man, I wanted all the smoke, y'all. Like I was so pissed just because of how everything happened, how they carried it.
Bro, like I said, bruh, they don't give a damn about us, bruh. This sister just found out that her man died, and you sitting here responding to her frustration, anger, and emotionalism by saying, I'm going to admit you in a psych ward. Like I said earlier, I hope he lost his job and I hope that he is never able to feed his family. That is a demon right there. That is a devil right there. That is crazy.
I didn't let me go. I just thought they were just real nasty to me about the whole situation. So y'all, my cousin named Ty. She, man, when I tell y'all she had me in the headlock, like my cousin had me so tight. She telling me like, cuz, I know you will upset, I know you will upset, but you have to calm down because I don't want them to lock you up. Like you have to calm down. So eventually, I calmed down and enough where, I'm not gonna get detained. I calmed down just enough, but y'all, like, what was I supposed to do? Like, how do I feel? Like, that boy right there was my everything. Like, that was everything I had. Like, to me, other than my daughter, that was everything I had. Like, I never had nobody to love me and understand me the way that he did. Flaws and all, it did not matter. I haven't met another like him since. So y'all, I try to calm down and we began to leave to go to the hospital. When I tell y'all that was the longest, quietest ride me and my cousin ever had. We ride together all the time. Like me and my cousin, we like two peas in the pod. Like used to be together every day. Like we was so quiet on that ride, like just in shock. Like I'm really on the way to the hospital to see the love of my life and he gone. Like I was just trying to process it. Like I didn't even know what to expect for when I got here to the hospital. So y'all, once again, I hate to leave y'all hanging, but I'm running out of time. But if y'all want to hear part 3, the aftermath, to when I got to the hospital, to how everything was leading up to the funeral, my state of mind, the things that I was going through at that time. If y'all are interested in hearing that, please comment part 3. And before I go, I really want to tell y'all, thank y'all for all the compliments on my hair. Thank you. Appreciate that. Everybody asking what I use. I have some growth oil that I made personally myself that really works wonders. Y'all check my page out for that Shock of the Hair Magician growth oil. But please don't forget to comment part 3 for part 3 of the story. What's up, y'all? This is part 3 to how my boyfriend slash daughter father was tragically unalive in the presence of me and my daughter 12 years ago. So, as I was saying, that was the most quietest ride me and my cousin ever took together on the way to that hospital. So, we pull up to the hospital, and I just remember like the hospital being super packed, like everybody already there. It took us so long to get there because we had to stay behind and, write the statements that by the time we get there, the whole family, my family, his family, all our friends, everybody's there. So I just remember like, everybody gathered up, me not really saying it to nobody, nobody really not saying nothing to me at that time. Well, if they did, I really don't remember that. So a lot of things are still kind of cloudy about when I first got to the hospital, but one thing I do remember is that now it is now time for me to go inside the hospital and see the love of my life no more. But let me backtrack for a split second now. I said I didn't remember certain things, but certain things stood out to me as well. I remember this girl that was living in the house that he was staying in, like at the time before we had went to my god sister's house. I remember this girl just walking by saying like, "But he had a baby," like, "But he had a baby," as if I didn't even exist. But that's another story for another day. So, anyways, now it's time for me to go in and see him. So me and my cousins, I remember us all, being walked to the back where he was, back into the emergency trauma unit. And I remember as soon as I got in, I saw my dad and my mom in there. As soon as I walked in, I kind of wanted to almost like just turn back around, but I saw my parents waiting for me, so I knew they wanted to, be there for me. But just being honest, y'all, at this moment, I really just wanted to be with him like by myself. So I remember going in, I remember just seeing my dad like with his hands on his forehead. My dad was praying for him. And my mom was just kind of standing, like just off to the side trying to, give me some support. So yeah, I just remember like, talking to him and just telling him like, babe, we had plans, like like what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? As if he can even help it, y'all. Like I'm really just like, so I'm just like, please don't do this to me, because I just can't believe that I had to watch him go through all that, and I prayed so hard and I just knew that God heard me. And I'm just like, how can I pray this hard and he did so good and he just not here? It just didn't sit right with me at all. That shit was super devastating. Like, I never felt no pain like that before, ever. So I leave, and me and my cousins or whatever, we went to go get up with some of his friends to go ask some questions to kind of get a better understanding of why this might have happened. So we went there, and I just remember us, sitting around drinking and smoking and just discussing everything, trying to come up with why this happened the way that it did. So y'all, I finally pull up at home, and it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I just remember like looking in my front screen door, and my brother is standing there holding my baby. Now, my brother and my baby father, they had a real close relationship. So I already knew that my brother was waiting for me to get home. But y'all, like, it just seemed like when he passed, it was hard for me to face anybody. Like, I didn't want to face nobody. I didn't want to see people's reactions to how I looked or how I'm feeling. I just didn't want that type of attention. So I remember like just walking in the house, and I just like walked right past my brother like and my baby. Like I couldn't even look at her at the time, because I just knew that it was gonna fuck me up. I just couldn't even look at her. I just walked straight past them and went in my room. So one of my close friends named Asia, she stayed with me, and my friend held me like a baby, y'all, and put me to sleep pretty much. But I did not sleep for long. I slept for maybe like an hour, and I remember just jumping up, like grabbing his boots, because I didn't tell this part, but I took his boots from the crime scene. Like, I saw the police were taking everything else, and when I was getting my baby bassinet out, I saw his boots, and I just grabbed them and took it with me. Like, why? I don't know. But so yeah, I grabbed the boots, and I just remember like running into the bathroom, just locking myself in the bathroom, like I just broke down crying. And I remember my best friend Asia coming to the door. She's knocking on the door. She's trying to get me to open the door, and I'm just like, I just needed a minute to just cry by myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just needed a long time to kind of get that out. So as I'm crying, my mom comes. Everybody trying to get me out of the bathroom. I eventually came out, go into my mom's room. My mom had to give me a bath. Like, I still had blood on me. Like, I could not take a bath. I just couldn't get myself together. You know what I'm saying? So right after that, my cousin Ty, she came and picked me up, and we just kind of just, rode around. I rode around. I smoked. I drank. And it's just like, y'all, from that morning to maybe like 3 or 4 days later, like, I can't tell you nothing that happened. Like, I don't remember. Like, I think I might have been in a state of shock Like, I can't tell you where my brain was. Like, my body was there, but I wasn't there. I was just a zombie at this point, for real. So I remember, like, specifically, like, we rode past Cookout a couple days, like, after this happened. And I remember just asking them, like, y'all, like, what's today? And everybody just looking at me like, girl, like, we so glad you saying something because you ain't been saying nothing. Like, I could tell that everybody was probably concerned with how quiet I was for those days. But I think I really was just trying to, like, process. You know what I'm saying? I was really in a state of shock, like, for real. So that Thursday, when I finally snap back into reality, like, we are going to go find him something to wear. Like, his mom actually let me be, in charge of getting him something to wear. So I went and picked some clothes out. Like, I never really seen him in a suit, or anything like that. So I just wanted to dress him how we would see him on a regular basis, how I know he would like to dress when he about to step out. So he loved Adidas, y'all. So I feel like it was only right. I went and got him a nice little Adidas jacket. I remember it was like red with the white stripes down the sleeves. And back then the guys were wearing like the skinny legs with the distressed little, stonewash cracks in them. And I got him a pair of those because I know he liked those. And I got him a new watch, and he loves Chicago Bulls, so I got him a Chicago Bulls fitted hat. I just dressed him how I felt like he would dress on a normal Saturday night when we about to step out together or something. And y'all, he looked it really good. Like, he looked it really, really good. And y'all, must I add in, like, in the mix of all this, like, before I could even get to bury him, y'all, might I add, it was so much drama going on. It was girls that was popping out of the woodwork, making statuses, making it seem like that's they man or something. Saying that I was using him for clout, like, these girls was reaching, like, for real. And it really was just sitting in me because it's just like, if I wasn't gonna know about you when he was living, why do you want to make yourself known when he gone? Explain it to me. Because the same way I would handle business when he was living, I handle business with him gone, because don't disrespect me like that.
So, girls coming out the woodworks, essentially trying to ruin her mourning process. She's the one. She's the one that got the baby by the man. Everybody else, any other woman is irrelevant. Bruh, it's crazy.
So y'all get to Thursday. No, it was Friday. It was his viewing. Get there. I literally, sat at the front. I sat there the whole entire service. Like, I didn't move. And one of his exes had actually came there, and she apologized to me, for everything. And she was just like, he loved you, etc., etc. And I could tell she wanted to stay. And at this point, it's just like, my boyfriend is gone, my daughter father is gone. It's just like, ain't nothing gonna be able to turn this around right now. I really don't care about anything because the main thing I cared about is gone. So it was just like, what is it gonna hurt if she stay or go? So I let her stay. You know what I'm saying? Biggest mistake, but I let her stay. And that's a story for another day. So as I said, I sat there the whole entire service. I sat there till they turned the lights down, cut the music off, took him to the back, and I just remember thinking like, this shit can't be real. Ain't no way. My god sisters, whose house it was, like, she wasn't speaking to me. Like, she was upset with me because she had to move from her place. Like, she even had called me and asked me to help clean up the blood. And I was in no state of mind to do no such a thing. Like, so my cousins, they offered, of course, to go clean up the blood because, like, that's crazy. Like, how would you think that I can do that?
What the hell? Somebody, God's sister offered you to clean up his blood? Did I hear that correctly? Well, what kind of insensitive?
And sorry to leave y'all hanging, but I'm running out of time, y'all. If y'all would like to hear the rest of everything, all the drama, everything that I went through from after that time leading up to now, how I began my healing process and how I'm still healing, helping my daughter heal, please comment, part 4.
Yeah, guys, so that was a pretty ridiculous story time. It's just crazy to see the insensitivity of certain people that can even be in your family, and we already know the kind of insensitivity that these cops have towards us, But I hope that the sister was able to heal. I couldn't really find part 4. I think that maybe she ended the story off here with part 3. But yeah, man, I hope that she's able to heal. I hope that she has healed. I know she said it was 12 years ago, but mourning is sometimes, it's just something that you have to go through. Uh, and it could last a pretty decent time. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thank you for sitting there and watching this with me. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.